Hello, everyone, and welcome to the TruthHurtzPodcast, a podcast where we believe in standing up for your constitutional rights, freedom of speech, and telling the truth, even if it hurts. I'm your host, Malibu Dallas. What do you say we get this party started? Hello, everybody, and welcome to Truth Hurts Podcast. I'm your host, Malibu Dallas. If you don't know who I am, you can probably find me on TikTok or Instagram, scrolling right down through your screen there. We actually have a really good show for you today. I got a special guest coming on here in a couple of minutes, but today's show is going to be all about freedom versus corruption, freedom versus government, and how you obtain true ultimate freedom. How do you actually obtain the true protection for not only yourself, but for your family, your children, your loved ones, your property? We're going to be talking about all of that. What does contracts mean? What do contracts mean when it comes to government? How do you enter into contracts? Do you even know that you're in contract? Right? So these are all of the things that we're going to be talking about today. So sit back, relax, take notes if you want to. Feel free to reference this podcast later on. We are broadcasting on YouTube. So if you are a subscriber, if you're not a subscriber, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell for notifications for when new podcasts and videos come up. Same thing with my guest coming on. She's on YouTube as well. You're going to want to check her out. So definitely take notes. We're going to be referencing a lot of different things today. We're going to be talking about different areas of becoming free. And what does that mean? Specifically, when it comes to talking about what a secured party creditor is. If you don't know what that is, you're about to. And if you already know what that is, and you're in the process of becoming a secured party creditor, congratulations, you're on your way to freedom. So instead of running my mouth for the entire hour, how about we bring on my guest? If you don't know her, I'm going to shoot her information across the screen here real quick. Her name's Leigh. She goes by Leigh Moon 73 on YouTube and on TikTok. So you might want to follow her. So she is a private banker. She just moved into a beautiful place of her own. She's happy. She's re-establishing herself, and she's on track to becoming truly free. And she's loving the process. She's loving what she's doing, and she loves what she's accomplishing because she understands what true freedom is all about now. So if you want to wake up to the rest of the world, and you want to wake up to what we're trying to do and what we're trying to teach you, you're going to definitely want to take notes. So without further ado, everybody, please welcome Leigh.
Hey, how are you?
How you
Thanks
doing,
for having
Leigh?
me on. I'm so excited today. It's a good day.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. I know this, we just scheduled this a couple of days ago.
Right?
So I appreciate you making time on your schedule for this.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I do want
Absolutely.
to make a correction though.
Yeah.
It's Libra moon.
Libra. Did I mess that up already?
Yes. No, you're fine. You said Leigh moon, I guess. And I was like, well, that's cute. But Libra moon 7-3, and you guys be careful for scammers. There are a lot of people that are taking my stuff and like spelling things wrong. They may add like 3 O's to moon or 733. Just make sure it's spelled right and has 7-3 at the end of it.
You see, that's the thing though, is when you start establishing yourself and you start making a name for yourself, these bots, these scammers, whatever they do, they're going to want to capitalize on that.
Yeah.
And if you don't have haters, like, are you really doing anything right?
Right. I have a lot of those. They're all
Right?
in my freezer now. I do little jar spells.
Oh, jar spells. Okay.
Like water, yeah. And then you take like a little jar, the little yogurts that have it's like a little it's not a plastic jar, it's like a glass jar, and you take a little piece of paper and you write their name on it 3 times, and then you fold it away from you, not towards you. You don't want the energy to come towards you. You want to fold it away from you, and then you stick it in the jar, and then you seal it and you stick it in your freezer, and then you just banish them out of your life. So
So how's that working out for you?
It's good. It's actually good. Yeah.
So are they frozen?
Yeah. Let it go.
Let it go. What was that song we were just singing? Um,
um,
Taurus. What was it?
oh, awesome. Oh,
All
wow.
right.
Like totally freaked me out. I mean, right on. Taurus, sure. Number one. Go ahead. Take the second part.
Your school has no gymnastics. Wait, no, what was it? I just transferred from Los Angeles. Your school has no gymnastics team.
This
This
is a
is my
last
last resort.
resort.
Anybody know what song? Anybody know what movie that's from? I would be impressed if anybody knows what movie
I
that's
love it.
from.
That's a great movie. That's a
Let's
great
see.
movie.
I'm looking at the chat room. I'm looking at the chats real quick to see if anybody knows what that's from.
It's such a classic movie too. You know, kind of like
It's an
have you
oldie.
seen? Yeah, have you seen Stick It?
Stick It?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think. No, that's from Step Up, right?
Stick It is also gymnastics.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway.
All right. So, any guys, well, Leigh, we've been talking for the last couple of days, quite a bit actually, and I'm excited to have you on the show because there's a lot of people that follow me who follow me for a very specific reason.
Right.
It's because I am educating parents on a national level on what their rights are when it comes to CPS, Child Protective Services issues, constitutional issues, civil rights issues, how to stand on their authority, their proper parental legal authority with conviction
Right.
and confidence. As most people know by now, I've actually written a book on these issues, and I'm in the process of writing my second book. So,
That's awesome.
um,
Good job.
well, thank you. So that's what my TikTok and my platform is basically built around, and I love connecting with people who are like-minded, who are on the same path as educating people for their rights, educating people
Right.
for their freedom, what that actually means and what does it truly look like. So my first question to you is, what does freedom look like to you, and what was it to you, and where are you now? Like where's that contrast at?
That's such a deep question because I feel like it's been a journey. But as of now, if I had to think about something currently, it's peace of mind because I know like once I surrendered everything to God, like just broke myself down mentally, physically, just all the things in my soul, I knew that I was very fractured and I knew that I had to take back my power and take back the control in my own life. And I think when I started to do that, I was also gaining power from the universe. I was also asking God to come in and say, please, like I was begging with him and pleading, like, I know that shit's wrong. I don't know how to fix it from here. I'm going to need you to intervene. And I feel like even at that time, it started to unlock some of my gifts, some of my like superpowers. I kind of hate to say it that way, but we all have them. And when we start to go inside and we start to kind of think like, okay, well, where did the trauma start, or where did, you know, the hiccup in your mind happen? Where did the cognitive dissonance start? When you start to like pull all of like, and this is for me, when I started to like unshell myself, is when I could see better. I could see better with my third eye. I could feel more with energetically with my vessel. I could, so in saying all of that, because I feel like that's a lot to unpack all on its own, I feel like it has to start with your mind. It has to be what is actually right. I understand what was told to you. And I understand like maybe what we've been taught in the family or in our, group dynamics, or even it goes back to in the country. And then let's go down to what were you taught in the state, then go down to what were, you have to unpack all of that. And when you do, then you have peace of mind because you understand the matrix. You understand the spell of illusion that was casted over top of you, and you start to become free within yourself, because you can't be shook by anything else. There's nothing else around you that can shake you, because you've already dismantled it all for
Right.
your own, you know?
And see, and that's the thing, is what I believe is exactly that. You mentioned the word matrix.
Mm-hmm.
When you peel back the onion and you get to the core, your eyes are just wider. It's like being a child and seeing and noticing something for the first time, and you're experiencing it, and you're just like,
Yeah. Holy
what?
shit.
Right?
Yeah.
What the hell is that? Right? So when you look at it and you truly are awake, it is a matrix, because
Yeah.
the wool is pulled over your eyes from the instant you are born.
Right.
Right? And it all comes from your social security number. It all comes from your birth certificate. And these are some of the things that we're going to talk about, is how the government actually establishes a contract with you from the moment you're born, and you don't even realize it.
Mm-hmm.
Your parents don't even realize it,
Right.
because they don't tell you. But they're, from the very beginning, they're breaking one of the cardinal rules of law contract. Right? So there's 3 rules to basic contract law. One, you have to enter into a contract knowingly.
Mm-hmm.
You have to enter into a contract willingly and with a purpose. Right? You have to know what you're doing. Your parents, when they sign your birth certificate from day one, you're entering into an agreement with the government.
A contract.
It's a contract.
It's almost like she's the warden. She's the person that kind of is like, here, I made a kid for you to, put
Right.
on this. Yeah. Yeah.
And your parents don't, the hospital's not telling you this.
Mm-mm. Which is
And
deceptive forms.
it is. It's absolutely deceptive. It's coercion.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's the same thing that I speak with a lot of my clients on, is with coercion. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you're being coerced into signing something. They're actually telling you only have 7 days to fill out a birth certificate
Right.
and a social security and all. But what they don't tell you is that there's no law in any state that says that you are mandated to do so.
Mm-hmm.
They are literally coercing you into doing so.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because now the government puts a bond, a $1 million attachment bond to that birth certificate. And now they have something that attaches to you, to a dead person,
Right.
that you're just using as a shell.
Mm-hmm.
And now they take that bond, and now they sell it on the market, on the stock market.
The first and secondary market. I wasn't even aware that there was a secondary market.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't even realize that. And then as I'm educating myself and coming across like even friends that were talking about it, or other content creators, and I was just like, the web of lies is so big, and it just jets out. Like the rabbit holes, once you go down them, you're just like, you'll stay underground for days.
Right. Because you're in a complete disbelief. You're in this denial stage almost.
Yeah.
It's like there's 12 stages of grief when you find out, right? And then
Right.
you have to work your way through those stages. And then once your eyes are opened, and then you start working your way through those stages, you start to become more confident. You start to become more aware of things. You start to become more cautious of what you're doing. And
Right.
then you finally get to that stage where you're like, okay, how do I take control of this?
Right. But
How do I
in that, sorry to interrupt you. In that, I also want you to go inside to yourself too, because there's going to be a little bit of emotions that come up, maybe anger, that you realized all this, like, oh my gosh, why did I not know that? Well, we just weren't taught that. That's why when you're talking to somebody on the other side, if it's at the IRS or if it's at your leasing office, some of them are going to know and some of them are not going to know. So you just have to like go above heads, and then also, like figure out, like, okay, is this somebody that knows about all this? Can I really actually like talk to them? If not, then we're going to go above the head, you know and it's, I don't know, once I broke out, I had to go, in saying that, once I broke out and I had to I don't want to say I had a breakdown, but I did have to have like a cry moment with myself of, oh my God, because you step out from the forest and now you're looking at it and you're going, oh my God, and then you just want to tell everybody because you're like, you guys wake up,
Right.
but you're going to have an emotional time. I think I did with that because also during this time, you're purging a lot of feelings. You're purging a lot.
You are. You are,
It's
absolutely.
a soul, mind, body, all of the things have to happen. So while like Dallas said, you're gaining your strength, I also want you to like think about your emotions and how you're feeling during this, how you're processing these feelings, because all of this is very new to us. We're coming out of a spell of illusion where you're able to look at the forest. You're not in the forest anymore.
Yeah.
You can look at it and go, oh my God.
Yeah. And you have to take steps to finally, to understand the true impact of it all, right? There's so, like Leigh saying, is that it's a spider web, and
Mhm.
every direction you go in that spider web is a new rabbit hole,
Mhm.
and it'll take a lifetime to completely understand everything that's being involved in it.
Right.
But from what we can understand and what we are perfecting is a process in which you are able to control that for the
Yeah.
majority of it,
Mhm.
right? And I'm in the process of doing it. I'm in the very middle of actually becoming a secured party creditor myself,
That's cool.
right? So, and I'm very proud, and I'm very anxious. I can't wait for the next step. I can't,
Yeah.
it's like you're on Christmas and you get you finally get what the steps of what you're supposed to do, and you're just like, I can't wait till that comes back in the mail so I can
Right.
get that and do this and do this and do this. I'm like, oh my God.
Going to the mail is exciting now for me. Usually I'd be like, leave it.
Right.
It'll be there tomorrow. Now I'm like, we just got a letter. We
We
just
just
got
got a
a
letter.
wonder who it's from. Dun, 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 dun,
Let's
dun.
find out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's exactly the way it is too, because I just sent out my first batch
Yeah.
of UCC1 filings
Hmm.
to New York, and
Right.
I can't wait till those come back, because once
Right.
that filing comes back and I get my file number, I can attach that to other things that I'm doing to secure my freedom. And I'm
Hmm.
just like, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Hmm.
So
When I first found out about the UCC1, I don't know, I was really nervous about it. It kind of made my like my solar chakra. I was just like, I don't know. And I don't know if maybe I had to educate myself on it, like get a little deeper in that rabbit hole to really understand what it was, or if I don't know, I had a fear about it. So I just took a couple days and started to look up, what it was, what they were. That there's like a 1 and then like a 3, and then you have to do a this, and I'm like, oh, geez. But I did like you I just filed mine, and it was even
yeah,
exciting because when I went into the courthouse, there was like a bunch of officers there, and and I'm like, I'm not scared of you, you know.
right.
And I'm standing there, and the one guy goes, can I help you? Can I direct where you need to go? And I said, I need to file my UCC1. And he was like, okay, records. And I said, yeah, I'm thinking, I guess. And I walked in, and
Yeah,
I could,
sure, absolutely.
yeah, right. So I walked in, and I heard the guys behind me because there was like several officers there, and he even said, he was like, I don't even know what she's filing. And I'm thinking, damn, see, I wish he did because he's working for his own money out of his trust. It's
See,
not like,
see, and that's exactly why I'm sending mine to the New York office,
right.
right?
Well, you
Because
have,
they do this all the time,
right,
and from the New York office, it's like you're putting the entire country on notice.
right. So would you do something with the count on county level? Because here's my thought with that, that we would have to put it on record with your county, like it's in the
So
county. Now send it up. Is that yes?
so as long as and it goes for the same thing when I'm dealing with clients with CPS, right?
Right.
When I'm telling somebody to put something on the record, Now there's two ways, right? Either you file something on your court case, that's putting something on the record. But when you're putting something on the public record, yes, you can file it with your own county. But a lot of these clerks don't understand the law. They don't understand if they deny you your filing, they're actually committing a felony.
Right.
A lot of these clerks, and they take an oath of office.
You can have their oath.
You can take their job, and if they're committing a felony, they can go to prison. If you take documentations, a bona fide affidavit, into the county clerk recorder's office, and you tell that clerk, I would like you to file this on the public record. The moment they receive that in their hand, by law, it's technically filed. If they reject it, if they say, I can't file this, then they just committed a felony. And they don't even realize it, right? So with a lot of things that I teach my clients is when you're filing something on the public record, yes, try to do it in your own county first. But if you can go to the next county, great. If you have to go to the next county over, great. If that fails, try to do it online. As long as you are filing it on the public record, it becomes a court of record.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if you're doing it in your own county or some other county.
So why New York? Just because it's going to blanket everybody?
100%.
Right. Okay.
New York is the main office. Right.
Okay.
So, and that's why I did that. I mean, I could take that same UCC1 filing with my file number when it comes back, and I can go down to the local county level and do it if I want to.
Right.
But it's
when I
think at that point it's almost redundant.
Yeah. Yeah. When I filed mine, I got my file number right there. Where some people were saying, like, when you file it, then they'll mail you a file number. And I got like, as soon as I did it, she put like a little sticker that had the file number and the Okaloosa and all the things. And I was like, oh.
We got a question here. How do you get their oath? So it's the same thing with like a judge's oath of office or a police officer's oath of office. The clerk of court has an oath of office, right? You can because they work in the public records department, or if you go down to the clerk of court and the head clerk of court has an oath of office, you can request a certified copy of their oath of office right there. And they have to give it to you. You might pay like $8, $10 or something like that. Yeah. But you get a certified copy of that oath of office. Once you have that oath of office in their hands, say like you get the judge's oath of office. People don't understand how powerful this is. It's like literally holding their nuts in your hand, right? You like, oh, you want to violate my rights now?
Right.
I have your oath of office, a certified copy of your oath of office. Let's see if that's actually a properly filed oath of office with the state.
Sometimes it's not. Yeah.
Because if it's not a properly filed oath of office, they can get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
A lot of trouble. So that's how that happens. So Leigh, I want to show people just real quick a couple of videos. Are we cool with that?
Run it.
All right. We're going to show a couple of videos. You guys, this is Leigh. This is from her TikTok. She's spreading the news. She's spreading the fire. Watch this.
Into the post office so many times that I've told the people in there like what I'm doing and how I'm, doing certain things. I gave them my card and was like, hey, like look me up on YouTube and, I can help you, get your trust fund and I can help you, steer you in the direction so that you can learn too. Because a lot of this is, you have to learn it for yourself. You have to know the terminology and how to go into these facilities, these institutions and speak. And I had to teach myself that because words are not easy for me. And, but now some of them have done the work and have looked into it and they're like, Leigh, I'm like, I told you, 31 USC 3123, all bills are prepaid and obligated by the government. Look that shit up.
So Leigh, you want to expand on that? What's that title number that you gave, and all bills are paid for the people who are just now learning this process? What does that mean?
31 USC 3123, just to shorten it, is all bills are prepaid by the government, obligated by the government. And then I came across HJR 192, and it says the same thing. Now, some people say that it was appealed, but then that's fine. Okay, so let's go to 18 USC 8, and 18 is actually criminal. So if you see anything that starts with an 18 or anything like that, that's going to be a criminal code, I guess. So that's 18 USC 8, and it says it the same way, same. All bills are prepaid and obligated by the government. Now, when I started coming down this rabbit hole, my focus was Jasara and Nasara, where they're going to level the playing field, where they're going to transfer the wealth and all that kind of stuff. But in my little rabbit hole brain, I was like, but how would that happen? And once I came across the Authenticated Trust, once I started to kind of unpack those kind of things, then I realized, like, that's it. I even had to have a moment. I laid on the ground, cried profusely, because I realized that they have sabotaged us for so long, and all bills are paid. When we turned in our gold, they had an obligation to pay our stuff,
Right.
to pay all of the stuff, even child support. Like when I came across Dallas, I think that was one of the things that I was like, Dallas, it's child support too,
Yeah.
because
Child support is highly unconstitutional. It's because
right.
the states are making money off of it.
Shocker. And
Yeah.
it's so greed, and it's so egotistical. So when you're starting to like unpack your own self, you're going to have to look at the real, like, who are you? Oh, and here's who are you? But then on the other side, what has everybody said that you were? Who are all the people in your life that said that you were this, right?
Right.
So they call you an employee, or they call you the borrower. No, you're the
Yeah.
creditor.
Yeah,
You're
you
literally
only they called you that, and you only knew that because that's what they told you. You didn't have
right.
firsthand knowledge of that.
Right. Yeah, because in society we're kind of put as, like, if you don't have a college degree, then you're beneath everybody, or if you don't educate, if you're not an attorney or a lawyer or a doctor, something with big stats, right? Then
Mm-hmm.
you're nothing. Or if you don't go to college, or if society does that to keep you down, so then you're not going to even look it up. You're just going to be like, well, I'm just going to go to my 9-to-5 job,
Right.
and then raise these 2 kids by myself.
Yeah.
No.
That's how the government wants you. Schools,
Right.
public schools, they don't teach you how to become secure. They
Right.
don't teach you freedom. They teach you how to be a good little student, how to be a
Mhm.
good little worker, how to be
And
a good little financial slave.
yep, and they look like prisons.
Mm-hmm. If you look at the, I just saw a video on that. Is where they compared the images of what a school is and
Yeah.
what the images of what a prison is.
Yep.
Right? You go to school in a bus. You get transported to a prison in a bus.
Mm-hmm.
School classrooms look like what?
Yeah.
A school cafeteria looks like what? A prison cafeteria.
The only thing that's different that I
it's
could
crazy.
find was that the school has a mascot.
Well, prisons do too.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, it's called a warden.
Oh. I was like, wait, hold on. Do they? Like, what is that? Like, we're the Mustangs, or we're the Tigers.
Yeah.
I got you. She's slow.
So somebody asked, I just saw that question here somewhere. Somebody said, what is a UCC for? Yeah, here we go. What is a UCC1 for? A UCC1, it's something that you file in, if you wanted to protect something, if you want to claim something, like when you go to a courtroom, they are building a case against you. So they put it under a case number, a docket number. That docket number now becomes attached to a bond number. That bond number is now being valued at a certain amount to where the courts are making money on the back end of that bond. You have no clue what's going on with this. It's called a bid bond or a performance bond or something like that. But here's the thing is when you file a UCC1 filing, what you're doing is you are basically saying, I'm first in line on any kind of lien, on any kind of bonds or anything like that. I'm putting a lien on my name and any form of my name. So like your all caps name, if you look at your social security number, it's in all caps. All right. So you're going to say, okay, I'm putting a lien on my all caps name. I'm putting a lien on my upper lowercase name. I'm putting a lien, a filing on my social security number. All of, if you look at the back of your social security card, it has a QSIP number. It's in red. That red number, you put a lien on that. You say, listen, if you're going to use me to make money, I'm putting a lien on that bond and I'm going to be the first one to get paid out on it.
Right. And the back of it is actually, I've been hearing that it's actually the routing number. So on your social, the front portion of it is the account number. And then the back portion of it is your routing number. And if you look at it, it should have a letter and then followed by the number. So if you see the letter
E-F-H-G, not like right there, and it corresponds with the 12 federal banks of America.
Right. So think about the Hunger Games and their districts.
The 12 districts. Yeah.
Yeah. So So mine is H. I was born right. Mine is H. I was born in Georgia, but H apparently is St. Louis. So that's where like my stuff's at. And I wanted to say this too, Dallas, because words are spells, right? And when you start to hear these words, if you're very new to this and that kind of stuff, like think about if America is under admiralty law, that means we're under water law, right? So most of our words are going to kind of sound watery, right? Like a bank, the bank of a river, dock, the docket, even our vessel, right? Anything, think of the relationship. A lot of things are going to have very much water words to it. But even now, whenever I go into the bank, my eyes are different. So I look at the bank differently.
Yeah, you're scanning for different symbols. You're scanning for different cues, because
my eyes, I see differently now. Yeah.
Yep. It's the same thing when you walk into a courtroom.
Right.
When you walk into a courtroom, what do you see? You see a flag. Okay. Does that flag have gold fringes around it?
That's a corporation.
Okay. That means that that courtroom is operating as a corporation. It's acting as a admiralty law. One of the best things that you could do when you walk into court, and it doesn't matter if it's a criminal case, civil case, it doesn't matter. Because there's only two courts in this entire country that operate on constitutional law. One is the United States Supreme Court. Everybody knows that one, right? And then there's another one. It's called the United States Court of Federal Claims. No, not a whole lot of people know about that. Right. But that court is actually in Washington, D.C. It's right down the street from the White House. Now, that court, you can, if you're having issues with your judge, you can file a federal complaint against your judge. Right. So these are the only two courts in the entire country that operate on constitutional law. Now, every other court other than that, criminal, civil, family, whatever it might be, traffic court, they all operate on admiralty law, contract, commerce, UCC. This is why we file the UCC1 filings, right? We're taking control of this process. So that's when she's mentioning admiralty law, and you walk into court and you look at a flag that's behind the judge and it has gold fringes on it. That means that court is acting in admiralty law, contract law, UCC1. So when you go up there to argue your constitutional rights, and even though, yes, I know that I'm teaching everybody about constitutional rights, but if you think about it, we don't have constitutional rights. We have God-given civil rights, unalienable rights that are protected by the Constitution. Okay. The Constitution doesn't give us rights. The Constitution protects our rights, if that makes sense, right? So
Mhm.
when you go into a courtroom, scan the courtroom, see what kind of courtroom you're in, and ask the judge. Straight up ask the judge. Don't be afraid of the judge. Straight up ask him.
He's just an administrator.
He's just an administrator. He's not even a judge.
Realized that yeah. And then the other thing that you guys can look at too is look at the eagle that's on the top of the flag. Is his little wings up or his little wings down? Like there's a big difference in this and this, because symbolism will be their downfall. And the more people that wake up to those kind of things, especially like, I do think I'm a little autistic. I think I'm a little neurodivergent because I see stuff like that. I see the little details. And now that I have new eyes, it's like I see them clearer. You know, I can see all the things.
Yeah. So being observant is very key in learning your true freedom. Okay.
Absolutely.
One of the things that I want to show you guys real quick is it's a video about a guy talking about the different variations on how they came to contract, how this country operates in contract. What do words actually mean? And how do they pertain to contract? What's the symbolism of all these words, right? So check this out real quick. Take notes, and we'll be right back.
You sign your name at the bottom because it has jurisdiction for everything above it and in front of it. Okay? So therefore, words, all words created worldwide are actually words of contract. All words and the definition of words come from a judge making a judicial decision as to the value of that word. There it is. Pen, P-E-N. Look it up in a dictionary. It's a writing instrument. Put it in a prison. Now it's a stabbing instrument, a concealed weapon, and it kills people. So, all things in the way they're performed are exactly what a judge makes a determination of. What was your volition? Was it to write with it, or was it to do harm with it? Thank you. That's just an example. So every word, when it ends, the last two letters of a word are a vowel and a consonant. When a word ends in a vowel and a consonant, it means contract. If the word starts with a vowel and two consonants, it means no contract. If a vowel is used as a single syllable, which is a hollow sound, it means no. So a vowel and two consonants means no also. And we spent 8,000 hours, Russell and I did, over a 2-year period. That's all we did for 2 years. And he lived here with me. And we brainstormed this way back in 1999 when we wrote these laws on this. And no one's been able to disprove that anywhere on the planet for the English language, in all the countries that use the English language. So from that, we were able to make a determination when we break these words down. I go ahead and use the number codes: 1 adverb, 2 verb, 3 adjective, 4 pronoun. But I also, when I see a word starts with a vowel and 2 consonants, I go ahead and I put no above that prefix, because P-R-E-A-E-I-O-N-U mean no. So all prefixes mean no, because it means to come before. Well, we live in now time. So if the future doesn't exist, because pre represents the future, then therefore the prefix, which is a future, is a no. So when you put a prefix, re and d and un and in and it means no. Now, you have the your taxation. It says pay your income tax. Now, if I said 3 plus 3 equals 6, you'd say that's correct. If I said 3 plus 3 equals 7, you'd say that's incorrect. We put IN in front of the word correct, which means no correct. So if I want you to join with me, I say come. CO means to corporate. It means join with me. So come me, C-O-N-M-E, come. And if I don't want you to come with me, I say income. No come to me. So pay your taxes on the no come to me. Therefore, you sign your tax form, but the IRS doesn't. It's a unilateral contract, so it's not a contract.
And unilateral means it's a one-way contract.
One-way
contract means one.
It just means one, and you're gifting or donating, but there's no contract for you to do that. They say, well, if you don't participate in our negative condition of, we're going to throw your negative, no person, into a no jail. That's why no law or fact should be tried in court. They make you into a no. And what is a no person? It's a nom de guerre or sudium, which is a dead person, which is not allowed to make contract or own property. And property, PRO, means no, PER is person, and TY is contract. No person contract, property. Now, how does property become a no person contract? Because all land on planet Earth has been subject to war, which means it's ailing, A-I-L-I-N-G, corruption from the beginning. So if we're going to have signs, simulations, signatures placed anywhere to tell people what to do, the sign is going to be trespassing, because all the grammar, laws, rules, regulations, and codes, and 4 billion codes are written in adverb, verb, and say nothing. So if we have no people that say nothing, write in nothing, contract in nothing, are advertised in nothing, our world is a nothing world, where you can't, or everyone is dead under nom de guerre. So we capitalize your name, and if you want to see where caps go to any graveyard. All your tombstones are in caps, uppercase spelling. So that's where we keep our dead people, and that's when you have peace on earth, when you're dead.
Wow, 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 wow. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like,
During that video, my brain was just going because I'm thinking, damn, it is. It's all about just words. Words are
it is.
spells. Yeah.
It's words. And this is what happens, Leigh, when we wake up. This is what happens when we dive down that rabbit hole and we start learning all of the shit they never wanted to start teaching us when we were in school.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if we were actually taught the proper history in school?
It'd be
If we were
amazing.
actually taught law in school?
Right.
Can you imagine how much more freedom we would actually have today?
Yep. I feel like
That's
there would
crazy.
be no war. There would be no race war. There would be no or less trauma in the world. Like if you have a household that is struggling financially, yeah, that's going to put stress and that's going to add triggers. And that's going to, now you're bringing up your kids in this stressful house because you're just trying to put food on the table.
Mhm.
If we didn't have that, we wouldn't even be those particular issues or problems in the world. We wouldn't even be interfacing with them because it just wouldn't be,
Right.
Yeah.
And one of the things that video, I agree with you 100%. One of the things in that video, he mentioned signs.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody puts up a sign in front of you telling you what to do or what you can't do or whatever, because of the way that those words are implemented in contract, they're trespassing. So, and that brought something to my mind. Do you know how many people I have tell me on a daily basis that, because one of the things that I tell people inside of one of the forms that I offer people, it's called, I offer somebody like a trifold. Inside of this trifold, it gives a tremendous amount of information on how to deal with CPS at your door, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here, I'll show you. So this is the trifold, right? So
Nice.
this trifold has a lot of information in it. Do not consent. Always be recording. What happens when the police officers are there? When it happens when they show up at the door, right? And then, I talk about what lawyers are truly doing. Okay.
Lying.
Exactly. Don't ever sign anything. What is gang stalking? what's implied consent, all these different things to actually teach you your rights, on how to stand on those rights with authority. So when I'm telling somebody to always record, you have every legal right to record all public officials in the acts of their duty. Now, yes, the judges have discretion on if they allow recording in the courtroom or not.
Right.
We need to change that desperately. We need true 100% transparency. And a lot of people are fighting for that. But I'm getting a lot of people telling me that the courthouse itself, the building, the security guards at the front door, that's a public building. That's our building.
Right.
I'm getting a lot of people telling me when they walk through those front doors, the security guards are confiscating their cell phones, all electronics, or they're telling them to leave them in their car. You can't even enter the building with a cell phone.
And that throws up such a red
That
flag.
is like screaming corruption, right?
Yeah.
There is nothing legal at all about a courthouse. And I don't care what state you live in. If a courthouse is actively confiscating or telling you to shut off your phone just because you entered the building, that is so insanely illegal. And they actually have signs on their front doors now. No electronics in this building, blah, 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 whatever it might be.
It's because they're doing sneaky snake shit and they don't want us to record it.
Exactly. That's trespassing.
Yeah.
Right. So, and people are like, well, how do we stop it? You rise up. You take control of your freedom. You record them. You get them on recording, confiscating your phone, breaking your First Amendment rights, breaking your Fourth Amendment rights. That's illegal search and seizure. It's like people need to wake up because we're losing our rights on purpose. Like we're losing our rights because we're allowing our rights to be taken.
Right. I think some people, and I was same, but some people are scared, and because the media cast fear upon us and shows us these horrible things where, cops are like tackling the person and, you're thinking, well, damn, I don't want to be tackled, or I don't want to, be in cuffs and they're.
Yeah. But if that happens, we have a fee schedule. You want to arrest me? It's going to cost you $500,000.
Right. And you can also put that fee schedule underneath your UCC1 too. One also. Yeah.
So there's consequences for people, who are not standing up for their constitutional rights. Okay.
Right.
But there's also consequences for those officers and the people who are violating those rights. You just got to learn how to control it. You got to learn how to harness it.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's going to take time. I do think it's going to take time and just education and knowledge and stuff like that. Right now, they've casted a bunch of distractions, especially on the television, on the media, all that kind of stuff. They want you to focus your energy somewhere else, which I would think would be like energy harvesting. They're wanting you to pour your energy into, the Britney Spears memoir, which I absolutely love.
No, you jumped on that train?
Yes. Yeah, toot toot. And
chugga, toot, toot.
Right. But and I think that's just part of my healing, because also I like to hear other people's stories, because at one time I felt very alone. I felt very secluded by myself. And then I started hearing about other people's stories and it was resonating with me. And I'm like, okay, this is a thing. This isn't just me going through this, or this isn't just, me realizing that even the banking system and the government, it's a whole line. It's not just one thing, but they set it up like that on purpose. It's very much by design, and we fell for it. But the thing is that, like, you have to give yourself grace, because it's not that we fell for it. That's what we've been taught. So even the generation prior us, that's what they were taught. And then and then somewhere in the mix, it all gets kind of, I don't want to say messy, but messy. It gets a little blurred, and you're kind of like, what is actually true? you're living in this fog, this cognitive dissonance for so long that at some point you're going to go, you know what? I'm done. I'm going to figure out who I am and what the actual reality is around me, because I'm tired of being played. I'm
Right.
tired of feeling like I have the short end of the stick. I'm tired of feeling like I can't stand up for myself or I'm going to hurt somebody's fucking feelings. It's
Right.
like, no, I'm going to start to take back my power. And you guys can draw your power back every night. Every night. Say that. I take my power back from every time, space, dimension, whatever you need to say.
Yeah.
That is
That's just
personally
speaking things
yours.
into existence. I highly
Yeah,
believe in that. Like,
I do too.
I used to be very pessimistic, and the world is always after me, this is out, but I didn't realize by me speaking these things, it was coming true.
Yeah.
And then,
You're doing this to the energy.
right. I've been
Mhm.
homeless 4 times.
Mhm.
4 times. I've been in prison. I did almost 6 years in prison. Okay. I've been homeless 4 times. I've slept on the concrete of Walmart, parking lot. I mean, I've done a lot of stuff. My life was not always been peaches and cream, right?
Right.
So the moment I started realizing it started changing is because I started speaking things into existence.
Change your mind.
I said, okay, I'm homeless for the 4th time. My life is shit. I'm sleeping on the concrete parking lot in Walmart. How is this going to change? What do I got to do to change because I'm going nowhere in my life. How am I going to change this internally and physically? So I said, okay, screw it. Let's just start speaking the truth. Let's start speaking existence. What do I want out of life?
Yeah.
First of all, I need help. Everybody needs help every now and again. So if you need help, ask for it.
Yeah.
Because
and
that's
not necessarily go ahead.
Because you're not going to get it in the manner that you need it if you don't ask for it.
Right.
Right? That's huge, is asking. I can lead you to the door. I can't make you open it.
Right.
Right? But I am more than, I'm the type of person, like, if I was homeless again, I would literally give the shirt off my back to somebody. I really would.
Yeah.
And the moment I started speaking those things into existence, I need this out of my life. I want this out of my life. I'm going to do this today. I'm going to do this today. And it's going to progress, and it's going to keep on progressing and progressing and progressing.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, that energy comes back to me. And
tenfold.
It's tenfold.
Yeah. And you almost have to be a little delusional about it. Just a little bit. Don't be too psycho about it, but just a little bit. Like, if you're wanting a particular something, kind of feel what that would mean. Like, if you have $1 million house, what would that feel like? What would that look like? Use your creative side. The right side of your brain is your creative side. So what would that feel like? To be sitting there in this $1 million house, or if you're wanting a particular vehicle, picture yourself inside it, proclaim it, claim it, say that's mine. Go down to the dealership and test drive your car.
Yeah.
I just did that. On my birthday. I went down to the dealership. I was actually going to file my papers, my UCC1 with the courthouse. And all of a sudden I saw this little sexy car on the side, and I was like, what? I'll see you on the way back. Went and did all my things, came back, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go test drive that. I'm going to go feel myself in that car. I want to, it's changing the frequency, the vibration of your being to be higher in ascension, but also to be able to call those kind of things into you. So it's a little bit delusional, but your body needs to energetically feel that,
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. Somebody said here, the problem with asking for help is you don't know who to ask. You don't know who to trust.
You trust yourself.
You got to trust. You got to educate yourself. You got to trust yourself. You got to get the right books and just start reading. A lot of people don't like to read anymore, which is, it blows my mind. It's like, you have no idea how powerful. I don't like to read, but then once I started realizing when I started reading the right things,
Right.
studying the right information,
Yeah.
I became addicted to it
Right.
because
Down the rabbit holes, under the ground.
yeah, right. So, and there's a lot of books that you can start out with. If you don't know where to go, if you don't know who to ask, there are plenty of things to start with. Like, for example, me and Leigh were talking about this the other day. There's a book called
Yeah.
Meet Your Straw Man. Okay. I can't really see it.
Yeah. You can get it off of Amazon. It's like not even $6.
Yeah.
And it's a good read. It's a little read, but it does give you very basic, generalized information of your name, how all of this effery came about.
Why is it in all caps? You know,
Yeah.
on your social security card and your driver's license and all this other kind of
Right.
stuff. Like, why are they putting it in all caps? Because you're a dead entity.
Right. Admiralty law.
Admiralty law. Like
Yeah.
you're they put all caps on your gravestone.
Right. And even the flag that they fly and then we stupidly fly on July 4th is a war flag. It's the war flag.
Yep.
You know, it's that's not the peace flag. You know, like like the stars are here and the stripes go this way. That's war. The stars should be there, but they're different color. It's like white, maybe blue on a white, and then the stripes are supposed to go up and down. That's the peace flag, you know, but every American across the country are flying war flags, but they don't know. I didn't know. That was news to me when I found that out. I was like, oh my God.
You guys, if you're wanting more help, if you're looking to understand a little bit more of this, check this out.
You guys, if you guys are new to all of this, you know, look up the book. It's called Meet Your Straw Man. Again, I know some of these gurus are like, stop saying that, you know. What are you doing, my guy? You got to go up to the light to turn. You can't turn back there. But it's called Meet Your Straw Man. You can get it off of Amazon. If you are on my TikTok, you can find it at the top of my page in my LinkTree. And it's a quick book. It's not a big book. It's not like some of these 500 damn page books where you're just like, I bet I do, you know. So it's a quick read, but it kind of tells you who you are, your character role, and how they all started the fraudulent bullshit with you and all the things. So I think it's like maybe $6 or $7. It's not bad, but it is good to read because then you can kind of get an understanding of who you are and then start to stand up, because now you're like, you may get a little ticked off too, because you're like, holy shit, like I've been played for this whole time. Yeah, you have. So from there, I would hope that you would study more and study all the things on top of it. Become a secured party creditor, become a private banker, get your EIN, all the things. And there's so much that goes into it. Like, this rabbit hole is super deep, but once you start to get down it, it's almost like you're more intrigued of finding the next little hole, you know, the next little rabbit hole, because you're like, ooh, what is this?
Indeed. What is this?
It is. It's exciting because one hole, once you get underground, I'm telling you, like even now, I don't even like to be on 3D. Like when you have to be human, you know, because you're up in the ethers and you're up in, you know, the higher like echelons of the ascension, and then you have to come down, you know, to more of a 3D human life. Have to deal with, you know, the NPCs of the world, or you know, non-playing characters that are just here,
right?
You know, or shit, even robots and all the things. Our world is definitely changing.
Yeah. So what is to me, one of, like, honestly, in my own opinion, one of the very first steps in becoming truly secure in your identity is what's called getting your birth certificate authenticated. Okay. It's one of the first steps. I just made a video on this on my TikTok. It's very similar because your birth certificate is a title and it's printed on bond paper for a reason. Okay. Just dive down into that rabbit hole for a minute. But your birth certificate is a title, no different than your car title, your
Right.
house title, your boat title, whatever it might be, right? But there's a slight difference in your birth certificate because that's your identity, right? Your car is not your identity. Your house is not your identity, right? But your birth certificate is your identity. Well, according to the government, right? You don't
Right.
have any firsthand knowledge that that's really who your name is, right? Somebody just told you that's who your name was, right? So you have no real true firsthand knowledge. However, if you want to utilize the government's portrayal of who you are to your advantage, authenticating your birth certificate on a state level and a federal level is very key. Okay. And when we do that, we take true possession of that
Mhm.
title.
Right.
Now, when you pay off your house or you pay off your car, you get the title to your car, right? Right. So,
Right.
but you don't own your house. You don't own your car. You have an interest in your car. You never truly own it. But what's the way to actually truly own that? It's what's called through an allodial title. You have to obtain the allodial title. And a lot of people will call that maybe for a car, it'd be the MSO. It'd be a manufactured, MSO title. But here, check this out, guys. I want you to look at one last video of the podcast. It's of a gentleman actually explaining what an allodial title is. He does it very, very well.
First of all, understand that if you're a U.S. citizen, you do not own anything. If you paid your house off, you don't own it. You have an equitable interest in the property, but you don't own it. Only way you can own anything in America and actually own it is with something called allodial title. A-L-L-O-D-I-A-L. Allodial. I think that's the way it's spelled. A-L-L-O-D-I-A-L. Allodial title. Allodial title means God cannot touch it. No one. Because it's absolute owned by you. But if you don't buy your car, your jet plane, your boat, your house, whatever it is, and have an allodial title, then you don't own it. And the authorities can come in and take your home anytime they want. It's interesting.
It's very interesting. I mean, you pay off your vehicle, you think you own it, right? You pay off your house, you think you own it. You have a birth certificate, you think you own it. But that's not the case, because when you get a birth certificate and your parents sign that over, they're literally giving the state third-party parental consent over you or your children
Right.
until you're of legal consenting age, which is what, 18? So that's scary.
Mm-hmm.
That's very, very scary.
I think that's why they were saying, what is it? Own nothing and you'll be happy, or own, what is that? What is that little phrase? Own nothing. I don't know. I don't remember. Sorry. It's
I don't think I've heard of that one.
basically, I don't know. I don't remember what the little phrase is. So sorry.
I think I know where you're going with it, though.
Yeah. It's basically like all of our stuff's already paid for, but
Right.
we just need to wake up to that like thought process. Because when I talk to people in the public about it, like telling them that all bills are prepaid, they do give me a little like deer in headlights, so it's almost
Yeah.
like I'd like to have like a pamphlet so that they can take it and then look at it later, because I just dumped a lot of stuff on them and they're probably trying to like sort through it. If I had a little pamphlet or like a little flyer to say, hey, look up these people, check out this, look up contract law, look up trust law,
Mhm.
that kind of stuff, and then just hope that they do it,
Speaking of trust law, once you get your birth certificate authenticated on a state and federal level, you now are in true ownership of your identity.
Yeah.
Okay, of and what you do that with your children.
Mhm.
If you're dealing with CPS, if you're dealing with something
Mhm.
legal, get your birth certificates authenticated on a state and federal level. Put those identities, put those social security numbers, put those birth certificates in what's called a trust,
And
a
then put
family trust.
and then put the trust under the UCC1.
Exactly.
All the birth certificate, everything, anything that is of value, L.L.C, birth certificates. Now, if the kid's over 18, then no, you can start to help them make theirs. But yeah, you want to protect everything of value, and even the piece of paper that you think, oh, well, it's just my birth certificate. No, there's so much more to that.
If it was just a birth certificate, it wouldn't be printed on bond paper.
And it typically has 3 signatures too. Typically mom, dad, and then like the registrant. Because like my birthday's 10/24, but I was registered on 10/26. So the person that registered me stamped it, signed it. Now that became the bond, because 2 signatures are a contract. 3 signatures creates a bond. So, yeah.
Right. So, and if you guys are wondering, a trust, and when you develop your trust, you can actually get an EIN for that trust. And now you can actually do a lot more stuff with that trust, right? So if you take a look at this is the bulletproof trust, right? This will walk you through step by step on getting a trust set up. It'll even show you the EIN, 3 steps on getting an EIN, from the IRS. So you do a revocable living trust. Okay. You go through the EIN to the IRS website. You follow these steps. Okay. You do a revocable trust. And, because you want to be able to change things inside your trust. You want to be able to take things out, put things back in. Because if you come across another piece of property, or you come across some more information or something that's invaluable for you, you're going to want to put that.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, it may be like a grandchild. Maybe you have a grandchild now. Let's stick her up underneath there too.
So you go through all of these steps. Okay. And it'll walk you through every single step of getting your EIN for your trust. Right. So if you need that form, or you need anything like that, if you want to, hit me up, you can absolutely do that. You can just actually send me an email. Right there's my email. Or if you want more information on, what Leigh's done, in order to become free and where she's at, or where I'm at. I'm in the middle of it too. But you can absolutely follow her on TikTok, follow her on YouTube. Her information scrolling across the screen, and I highly suggest you reach out to her. She's an amazing person.
Thanks, Dallas. Look, I even have we went live like a little bit prior, and I was like, look, I have a shirt that says Malibu. Do you want me to?
I thought that was awesome. She's like, she's Malibu.
Yeah.
It's so cute too.
Yeah, but it's education, and you're going to come across people that like they're way down the rabbit holes and that kind of stuff. And just don't feel like you're displaced, or don't feel like you're behind. God's going to wake you up and give you the knowledge as you need it, as you will, as it's supposed to come into your life. These other little people that are like, I don't want to say little, but other people that are also content creators and that kind of stuff, like they're down the rabbit hole, but do what you need to do, because it's almost like you're untraumatizing yourself, and you have to do it within yourself. There's nobody on the outside of you that's going to save you. Nobody on the outside of you that's going to do this work for you. Now you can pay for somebody to help you and that kind of stuff. And I understand like an equal exchange of energy, but for me, I want to learn this myself, because I want to know the process. I want to know what they went through. Now, if I get jammed up, then I'll ask and say, okay, this is what I've came up with. Here's where I'm at. Tell me how far off base I am, So just keep educating yourself. And even if you're listening to a content creator or anybody, even on YouTube or Rumble, say they say a word and like you don't even understand. Because when I heard about the allodial title, I spelt it wrong. I was like, hooked on phonics, A-L-L, you know, I'm like, I don't know what that word is. But then I went back and I went to DuckDuckGo and I'm like, okay, what is a allodial title? Because clearly I was interested in that process, but then they jammed me up with that particular word. So it seems like it's a important word. So maybe I need to know about it, you know. So
See, the thing is that we learned today is that all words are very important
yeah,
in what
Yeah.
context they're being used in.
right. Absolutely.
So, and you guys, if you are interested in learning any of this, hit up Leigh. You know, follow me on TikTok, follow her on TikTok, you know, subscribe to our YouTube channels. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you get an update on when we post new videos. Listen, let's just put it this way. Freedom is not free. It's paid with the blood of soldiers. It's paved with our slavery. Every single race on the face of this planet has been enslaved at one point or the other.
Mm-hmm.
This country went from a physical slavery to a financial slavery. Our government does not give two diddly squats about you or your children.
Mm-hmm.
Zero. They are for corruption. They are for power, control, and money. That's it. It's the same thing with CPS. CPS doesn't care about your children. Zero. They want federal funding. That's it. Okay. If you want to protect you and your family through all of this, start the process. Get your birth certificates authenticated, state and federal level. It's not even that long of a process, and it's cheap.
No.
It's like $20 for state and $20 for federal. Okay. That's truly the first step. And then you start developing your secured party creditor information. Okay. I'm not looking back. I'm in the middle of this, and I'm never looking back. I want true freedom.
You'll be turned into a pillar of salt if you look back. So don't do that. I'm serious because, like, you talk about power and control, but if we go to the Bible, which I'm not religious, but if we do go there, it says that we don't fight against flesh and blood. We fight against principalities, which is spirit, which is energy, right? So if then go to, you know, what comes here to steal, kill, and destroy? That's demons. So then you have to go to, well, shit, who are these politicians and these celebrities worshiping, idolizing? That's Luciferian.
Yeah.
You know, so you're kind of like, I'm telling you, the rabbit hole, it's like once you figure it, and then you do, and then you're like, oh my God.
It never stops.
Yeah. And they're all into it, you know, and then you'll notice that a lot of the celebrities are pawns, that they're used as distractions. And then you notice that, like, all of a sudden one will die, like Matthew Perry did or whatever. No, that was a sacrifice. That was a ritual, just like Kobe Bryant. That was a sacrifice, you know.
Oh yeah, now you're opening up a whole other can of worms. We're gonna have to save that for another podcast.
That's a whole nother hour.
You guys, do me a favor. I'm gonna do a little poll. Okay, I'm gonna do a little poll. If you would like to see Leigh on the podcast more often and maybe as a permanent co-host, shoot me an email. Okay, let me know. Because we have a lot in common. We have a lot of things that we're doing in line with each other, and she's an amazing person. I think she would be a great co-host.
Absolutely.
What do you think, Leigh?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love it. I already said that, like, I need to really start to customize my tinfoil hat because I'm winning out here. I'm winning. Okay. All these people that were like, you're crazy, Leigh. And then now it comes to pass, and like, or if it's on the media, or even whenever it said on Fox News and it was like transfer of wealth, I'm like, one more little mark for me. Little tinfoil hat, you know.
All right, Leigh. I can't thank you enough for being here.
Absolutely.
You are a fantastic human being. You're intelligent, you're funny, you're smart, you're beautiful, you're enjoying your life now. And, you know, it's really, truly good to see you in your element.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. All right. Have a good night, sweetie. You guys, thank you for joining into the podcast today. Again, this is Truth Hurts. I'm your host, Malibu Dallas. If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, if you're still here watching, definitely subscribe. Definitely hit that bell for notifications. And we will see you next time. Love you guys.